Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. Tempest 3 Tier 4 Race 47 has been tweaked by Natural Motion. It is now a 1.37 or so 0 to 60 against a Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. Interestingly, the Trackhawk itself cannot hit that 0 to 60 without stage 6s. So who knows how that particular car is tweaked from Natural Motion side, but bottom line is many of the 260 mile per hour cars cannot hit 1.3s in the 0 to 60, including some of the newer, faster cars like the RS5 Avant, like the Corvette C8, which could hit the 1.494 older challenge but cannot hit the newer one. Fortunately, the Evora and some of the others can still do it fully max. But what if you don't have a car fully max? You have a car that can do 260 mile per hour, but now you have to find a car to take care of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a series of cars and their tunes that will beat that 0 to 60 challenge without any stage 6s, but with essentially full fusions. So let's start looking at these cars. Honorable mentions, because I don't have these cars kind of fully built, or I don't have it built at all in this account. Let me just kind of mention them. Eclipse is one of those cars that will beat Tempest 3 Tier 4 no matter what, very easily. Nissan In-Attack and the M5 Competition both can do it, but they both should have at least 1 or 2 stage 6s. M5 Competition being the easier of the two to do this, but they'll both beat the whole event no problem. Mustang HP 750 is another option that is out there that can still take out the whole challenge, but it needs to be fully maxed. Evora GT430, same thing, fully maxed, can defeat the entire challenge. But outside of that, we're starting to run out of these options that can do everything. So let's start taking a look at some of these cars that is stage 5 only, but can help you get through challenge number 47. And there are quite a few of them. This is not an all-inclusive list, but this is a pretty decent list. Project Black S, I'm going to show you separately at the end because I don't have it built on this account. But the other cars I want to show you are built on this account, so I'm going to go through this account first. Let's start off with the recent option to purchase for the new Elite event. This is the Rx7 Rocket Bunny. If you have the Rx7 at stage 5 only full fusion, you should hit around 638 performance points, and you can tune it very easily to get under 1.30 to 60. 2.1, 5.0, 0-100. Let's do a run. The key here is you're going to launch this car perfect, nitrous right away, but catch the needle somewhere in this range and shift to second and then let it hit red line. That will get you the run you want. So let's try to do exactly what I just said. Right, that might be a little late, but let's see what the result is. I was a little late on catching that second gear. You might want to catch it around 7K if you can. That's usually a better run. I was getting about a 1.295 before. This is a 1.332. Same tune, just driving it a little differently. But as you can see, it can still easily get under 1.37. So that's car number 1. Stage 5 only, Rocket Bunny Rx7. This car is available, I believe, for gold right now, but understand that fusions are not that easy to get. Alright, number 2, recent PC car, the Camaro Z28. The Z28 at stage 5 only does not carry a lot of Evo points in this setup, which is to end your 0 to 60 as second gear, 0-100, shortest nitrous duration, and we're going to go ahead and run it. With the Z28, you're launching perfect as well, but you're going to try to get nitrous activated right away and then get into second before you hit red line. So it's going to be one of those where you're going to activate nitrous and then second and you're done. Now you can let it run a little more in first, but again, do not redline. If all goes well, you should have a 1.3433 or in this case a 356, enough to beat the challenge. That was cutting a little close though, but well under 1.37, enough to beat the challenge. The Corvette Stingray Z06, another golden oldie. This car's been around quite a while, and it is a common 4-star drop now from Tier 4 crates. I mean, from crates for a Tier 4 car, I should say. But it's actually a very good sprinter for 0 to 60, Stage 5 only. Let's go and look at this car. From a tune standpoint, just like the way you would have the Camaro Z28, you want to finish in second gear, 0-100. The dyno says 1.0, 0 to 60. That's how quick the 0 to 60 is on this car. You're basically going to drive this car very similar to the way you drive the Camaro Z28, but the difference is this car has a much later launch point, so you don't have time to hit nitrous first, catch it, and shift to second. You might as well just shift to second and hit nitrous, which will work just as well. If you can hit nitrous. My nitrous didn't go off. But even without nitrous activating, it should still give you a pretty substantial sprint, well under 1.3, well under it. Okay, 1.097. And that's without nitrous. So you can probably do it, just don't worry about nitrous and just catch the shift. You'll still get a 1 second 0 to 60, which will easily defeat the challenge. Now, this is Stage 5 full fusion, but it's so much faster than 1.3. You could probably get away with less fusions or even less upgrades. So this is one of the better sprinters out there for the 0 to 60 challenge. Sls Amg Black Series, another golden oldie. This is a car that's been around since the beginning of the game. It's been PC car more than once for those who have been around a while, but for newer players, this is a Mercedes, which means hard to get fusions. It is something you have to think about if you really want to build just for this challenge. 1.315 sounds pretty good. One thing about this car is that it is actually going to be one of those cars that you need to get into third gear. So notice that it has a pretty high launch point at 5,000. So you can launch first, second, and then go into third. It tops out a little bit before 60 in second. So if you don't go into third, it's not going to work. But it'll do a pretty good run regardless. Now, tune-wise, 2.0, 5.0, 5446. Now, that's important to note because when you go like this, it doesn't help that much for the time. This car doesn't need the extra grip. It's perfectly happy to be at this grip level, and you can still get your excellent 0 to 60 without having to put it to 0-100. This is one of the difference between this car and some of the others. All right, moving right along, let's go to the next garage. And here we have another batch of options, including the most recent, one of the most recent PC cars, the XESV Project 8. This one, again, as Stage 5 only, has a higher performance point of 640, but that is Stage 5 only. And it has a pretty good dyno with the 0 to 60 challenge, same setup as the 5.0 0-100 setup for some of the other cars. Now, with this car, you see 1, 2, 3, 4. The thing here is that these two gears go real quick, and these two are the ones that you want to power through. So what you're going to do is you're going to launch it, get out of first, get out of second, and try to hit nitrous the whole time. I mean, whenever the nitrous activates, you definitely want it to activate by third. So the key here is launch, and then get out of the gear, but still try to get nitrous to go. And that's it. So basically, if you can get nitrous to activate by third gear, you're good to go. 1.317. Again, well under 1.37 with a 1.326 as the baseline. Very good for this purpose. However, Jaguar Fusions, not so easy to get. All right. Here we're going to go to a bunch of Nissans. Now, one thing about Nissans in this game is a lot of these Nissans sprint real well. Okay, Gtr 2.0 being one of the outstanding sprinters in even among the Nissans, but they're all pretty good. So this is again another PC car that some of you may have who are still relatively new, look at that sprint. Okay, now the thing about this one is that you are also still only using second gear. You're not really even getting into third. So this is again one of those launch first, get to second, and mash that nitrous so it happens kind of car. So same deal. We're going to hit first at perfect and then kind of shift early into second and then hit nitrous. And that'll be it. That's all you need. Now it's a late launch car. If you can get it to launch that late, it'll tire spin just a little bit and give you enough time to try to get that nitrous going. However, notice my nitrous didn't activate when I hit the button. That is one of the problems. But guess what? You don't need it, because it'll still do 0.98. So you don't even have to worry about nitrous. That means that this car doesn't even need nitrous to hit 0.98, 0 to 60. One of the quickest sprinters, much like the Corvette Z06, just simply destroys the sprint at stage 5 only, or less for that matter. You could probably get the sprint done with a juke that's missing epic fusions and stage 5 only. All right. Okay, Nissan. Let's go to the next one. This is the LB Nissan Gtr Premium. The LB at stage 5 only. Also sprints quite well. Although, surprisingly, it doesn't sprint as well as, say, the regular GTR 35 Premium. But, okay, doesn't mean it's bad. 2.0, 3.77, same thing, into second gear. And 0-100. This will be enough to give it a great sprint. Now, can you put it to third? You can try, but it doesn't help because it's too long. It won't get to where you need it to be, whereas this will get you much closer to where you want to be with the actual sprint time. Let me try to get it back to that. I think it's like 7.4, 7.2. All right. Now I'm kind of missing where I needed to be. Oh, right here. 7.7. Okay. So 3.77, 0-100, 2.0. Let's go ahead and run it. All right. So this car is interesting in the sense that it's a very late launch car. But what you can do is you can launch right here, hit nitrous, and then shift to second. Or you can try to launch here and then get to second and try to hope nitrous works. Either one works. Let me show you how it works when you actually drive it. So you can do it this way, which will get you one of the faster 0 to 60s, okay? And it'll run under whatever is dynoing, so don't worry about that. 1.232. It's that simple. Now, you can also do it the other way, which is actually a little trickier, which is launch early, nitrous, and then shift into second and let it finish. I think what I just did probably will be easier overall because you're not worried about getting the nitrous activated in first gear. So that is the Nissan, the LB Nissan GTR 35. This is also one of the cars that's been around in the game quite a while. Okay, moving down the list of Nissans, S15 Sylvia Rocket Bunny. Stage 5 only, yet again. 2.0, 2.67. This car is going to do everything in one gear. Okay? One gear, first gear. Here we go. Oh, wait, let's dyno it. 1.4 it says, but it'll beat that. And it's one of those cars that also sprints very well. So, because it's a Nissan, you could buy GTRs to get fusions. So, any Nissan would definitely make it to the top of my list as far as trying to get things done. Alright, now I got a 0 RPM drop. That probably didn't help me, but let's see what it ran. Alright, didn't matter. 1.024, okay? So this is right there with the Juke R and the Corvette Z06. You didn't even have to worry about getting a needle drop. I mean, get a needle drop, hit that nitrous, boom, still 1 second 0 to 60. So this is one of those 0 to 60 beasts that'll get that sprint done for you really fast, no issues. Okay, now we're moving away from Nissan for a minute while we go take a look at the Shelby Gt350r. Notice the negative Evo here. This is actually Again, stage 5 only, full fusion. Okay, make sure I didn't screw up and put a stage 6 in. Nope. 638 performance point to 640 performance point should tell us that it is stage 5 only. Now, 2.0, 5.0. Okay, you need third gear. 0-100. Dyno says 1.392. This is one of those cars where you're going to launch second in nitrous and then get into third. So you cannot redline this car in first and second. You want to get it to row a little bit in it, or you can try to hit nitrous right away and then second and third. Either way, but you want to get that nitrous activated and then run through. But this time I didn't get the nitrous to work, so that's going to hurt. Maybe you have to redo this. It's kind of obnoxious when your nitrous doesn't want to cooperate, and that's one of the problems with Android devices. Alright, so let's try to get this done right. Right? So it'll get into second nitrous and then third it would end. That usually can get you a pretty good sprint of 0 to 60 under 1.37. So it's a 1.33 done that way. The key here is you got to get that nitrous to work in second gear. If it sticks, you got a problem. You're going to have to redo it, but it definitely can do it. But it's a little bit tricky only in the sense that sometimes the nitrous will stick, because if you try to shift out of first too early or you launch it wrong, the nitrous button won't activate right away. Okay, so that is the Gt350r. Stage 5, this is a Ford, therefore if you have the car, the fusions are not really that difficult to acquire. Oh, come on, move over here. Alright. Vanquish, okay, good old Vanquish. This is one of those cars that comes all the time when you're pulling silver keys, and nobody likes it when they see one. But this is a car that also has stage 5 only. I did not put the stage 6s in. I think that's why it's showing it needs fusions. Okay. Oh, I don't have the fusions in is what it is. Okay. So stage 5 only. The Vanquish can also vanquish that 0 to 60 challenge. In fact, it can vanquish a lot of things in the lower Tempest, including Tempest 2, if it's fully built. But what we're looking at is a 1.779 0 to 60. Whoa, that doesn't sound too impressive. Second gear ends at 60 again. Okay. But let's see what it can do. I'm going to have to mash the nitrous button. That's always the problem with this device and trying to get these instant nitrous cars to work right. There we go. Alright, so if you can get nitrous to actually go off, you'll be fine. And of course, catch the shift so you don't redline. And it gets you a 0 to 60 of 1.344. So that's a almost 0.44 second drop from what the dyno says. Okay, so that's a pretty impressive drop. And this car is quite capable in sprinting. Alright, moving on to the next car. And we're kind of really out of cars now. I just wanted to get to the GTR Premium here. The next car is that Alpha, which is actually a paid car, so I'm not going to show it. But the good old 2015 Nissan Gtr Premium with stage 5 only. In fact, you may not even need stage 5 only. Will do the craziest of 0 to 60 as long as you can shift fast enough. This becomes one of those button mashing things. But you really only need to get to third. Okay, so it's literally launch, second, third, done. Okay. And if you're worried about worrying about nitrous, don't worry. You don't need the nitrous. All you got to worry about is getting into that third. But you should hit nitrous in third. So what I do is I launch and then mash everything, nitrous and shift at the same time. Like that. Okay, so basically I just needed to shift second and third. 2 taps. Boom, boom. And then hope that nitrous went off at the same time. Because it has such a crazy 0 to 60, you should have no problem hitting it. You may actually be able to hit that 0 to 60 with this car without even stage 5 and probably missing tons of fusions. I mean, this is so quick. I think maybe even a stage 5 with no fusions may be possible. Haven't tested it, but it's something worth looking into. Okay, and that kind of brings us to the next car, which is one of the most recent PC cars, and that is the Project Black S. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my other account and show you this car because I don't have it built on this one. I'm actually going to go to my main account and show you this final car for 0 to 60 Sprint. And we are now here with my main account, Project Black S, that I built from last season. 638 performance point means it is at stage 5 only with fusions. I think it's full fusions. Okay, so with this car, for the Sprint, let's take a look at this thing. 1.065 already. It could probably do this without stage 5, or without full fusions. But here, again, you're just looking at tuning it to second gear for that. You can tune it to third gear, but it doesn't make it better. Second gear's where its strength is at, right here, with the 1.06 0 to 60. Now, if you can't get a 1.06, all you need is like a 1.3. So you really can't mess this up. I mean, this is going to be one of those launch second and nitrous deals. Just mash the nitrous button if you have one of those obnoxious devices that doesn't like to activate it. So here we go. We're going to launch, and then we're going to hit second and nitrous pretty quickly. And that's it. That'll definitely be like a 1.0, 1.1, 0 to 60. So just like that, done. 0.961. All right. And that is the Project Black S. That's one of the most recent PC cars. So that kind of gives you the list of PC cars that will easily do that entire challenge number 47 in Tempest 3 Tier 4 for that 1.37 0 to 60 without having to really get into stage 6s. I mean, I like it better when I don't have to worry about looking for stage 6s for a car. Also, I like cars that are recently PC cars because I usually have them already built to some degree. Are there other options? Yes. Are they going to be able to do it without any stage 6s? It's going to be tough. For example, the Bentley Bentayga, you can do it, I think, with one stage 6 for sure. It's very close with no stage 6 full fusion. And the most recent PC car, the LB, the current one, I should say, the LBR8, not quite. It needs a little stage 6 upgrades to pull it off. So some of these are not as good at sprinting as others, but the ones I just showed you, they're all pretty good at this, and they should all be not too difficult to build overall. So if you have any questions about this 0 to 60 sprint option, feel free to make them in the comments. If you like the video, leave a like. If you like my channel, please subscribe so you can get notifications. As always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.